So a lot of people have asked, with this updated Perodua Myvi, now with Perodua Smart Drive Assist and ASA 3.0, is this really now the perfect Myvi? The car that you can drive both in town and out on the open road. Well, we were very lucky to have this very Myvi to bring back for Raya, and we've done about 1,800 kilometers in this car so far. And well, we're going to tell you what's what. My name is AIMAN ABDULLAH, this is MalaysianMotoring, and this is our very quick chat about what the new Perodua Myvi is truly capable of. With the facelifted Perodua Myvi, everyone talked a lot about how with the DCVT automatic gearbox as well as Perodua Smart Drive Assist, this might finally be the Myvi that is both comfortable in town as well as out on the open road. Now, in a surprise trip that I had to take to Penang and back just before Raya, it meant that I managed to drive through some degree of traffic and some degree of open road, as well as a certain amount of urban driving through Penang town and so on and so forth. And well, there are some pros and cons to this. So now, thanks to this DCVT automatic, it does mean that the engine doesn't rev nearly as high as it used to when you're cruising at highway speeds. 110 kilometers an hour is achieved with about 2,000-ish RPM, which is significantly lower than before, which means there is a little bit less engine noise that gets into the cabin. Also, the addition of Perodua Smart Drive Assist with Advanced Safety Assist 3.0, which includes things like adaptive cruise control, automatic high beam, blind spot monitoring, lane keep assist, does mean that this car is now a lot more competent out on the motorway. It is almost level 2 semi-autonomy, it's just that the car doesn't really work itself through a traffic jam, which is a bit of a shame, but you know, for 58,000 ringgit, what can you really complain about? One thing that I really did appreciate were the automatic headlights with automatic high beam. Now, this has to be the most aggressive automatic high beam system I've ever seen in any car, by which I mean that whenever it spots an opportunity to use the high beams, it will immediately deploy them, even if it is for just a couple of seconds, and it dips up and down very quickly. And it is a very sensitive system, which means you will not be blinding other road users accidentally. Now, despite all that, there are still some very typical Myvi foibles with this car. Number one is the seats. Now, in the Ativa, I noted that the design of the seats meant that over a longer distance, it does support your lower back especially much better, which means that you have a lot less sort of strain on your lower back, creating that sort of pain that you can get over longer distances. Unfortunately, the Myvi's seats were not redesigned for this facelift, which means that you still get a little bit of compression on your lower back, which is a little bit uncomfortable. The other thing is in terms of aerodynamics. Now, I don't know if it's to do with this car's GearUp body kit or if it's just the Myvi overall, but in terms of wind and road noise, you still get a lot of noise in the cabin, especially when you venture north of 110 kilometers an hour. It is also worth noting that this car, at speeds above the national speed limit, is still very loud. This engine does have to strain and scream quite a bit in order to maintain higher highway speeds, which means that you will be hearing a lot of this engine in the cabin. And of course, because the engine has to strain, it also means that there is a debt to be paid in terms of fuel consumption. Now, on the motorway, the best number I saw was about 13.5 kilometers per litre. Now, I thought that upon arriving in Georgetown, things would get better because this is ultimately a city car at heart. Unfortunately, driving through Georgetown on the days leading up to Raya, this car did about 7 to 8 kilometers per litre, which is absolutely shocking for a car like this. Now, of course, you may argue that Georgetown is a very packed and crowded and busy city, and you'd be right. But of course, being a Myvi, this is a car that should be most at home in town. What I found very strange, of course, was the fact that this very same Myvi, when I drove it around KL and PJ, would happily do 12 to 13 kilometers per litre. Somehow, in Georgetown, it decided to do a lot more than that. Maybe it just wanted to sap my holiday budget. But that's basically what life is like with the new Myvi. It is greatly improved thanks to that DCVT, as well as the inclusion of Perodua Smart Drive Assist, which most definitely helped a lot when I was driving on the motorway. You can set your speed, you can turn on the lane keep assist, and the car does most of the work for you, which means that there's a lot less strain when you're driving over longer distances. But the unique Myvi foibles still exist. You still don't get that good lumbar support, and ultimately this engine, well, it's not quite as accomplished as what you get from the Perodua Ativa. But in any case, this is still a 58,000 ringgit car, which means that with things like automatic headlights, automatic high beam lane keep assist, adaptive cruise control, autonomous emergency braking, blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic alert. I mean, you can't really fault this car for much, can you? And so for that regard, yes, while this car does have its drawbacks, it's still a very easy car to recommend. Definitely one of the best cars that money can buy under 100,000 ringgit. In any case, that has been a very quick Balik Kampung video or discussion about the new Perodua Myvi. If you enjoyed this video and videos like this, please let us know in the comments below and we'll try and do a few more for you. But if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell icon so you're notified every time we make a new upload. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. All the links are in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Take care, stay safe and Selamat Hari Raya.